One of the things that we're going to talk about our free report today is 13 extra costs that you have to be aware of before buying a Central Florida home. There are costs involved when you are buying a home. And so we just want to go in and make sure that everybody's aware of what they are and how they all work and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, one of the first things that is something that you would pay is your appraisal fee.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on your lending institution, they may request, usually it's 8 out of 10, I would say, request an appraisal, depending on the loan type, but it's usually a good thing to know anyways. They want to make sure that, you're buying the home for the value and not paying either you're paying too much for the home and it's not as much. And that can vary anywhere, I want to say, from probably maybe $400 to $500, the appraisal fee.
The second thing on is property taxes. And property taxes in Florida are paid in arrears. There's actually a non-ad valorem portion of the property tax, however, that is paid in advance. So the part that's paid in advance for the seller, you're going to have to give them a credit for whatever they've paid in advance. And in a lot of parts of Florida, there's what they call a community district development that's also included in the property tax. And what that is usually always in advance. So the property tax and the CDD sometimes can be about equal.
Yeah.
As far as what's paid in advance and what's paid in arrears. Number 3 is a survey fee. And again, this is going to come into play, especially when you're working with a bank.
Yeah. Surveys usually run, I've seen them go anywhere from like $200 to $300. Sometimes, though, I have seen the seller, produce the survey, and sometimes the lender may use that. Not always, but sometimes they may. And so that might be able to help you save a couple bucks. But if not, you definitely want to be expecting to pay at least $300 for the survey.
And then the next thing is the property insurance. And property insurance is something that does have to be paid in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And so your property insurance is going to have to be paid for that year in advance. It depends on where you're at and where your house is. And we can do extra inspections many times for wind mitigation that will actually lower your homeowner's insurance as well. So there's things that can happen that can lower that property insurance. But the bottom line is that your first year of insurance does need to be paid in advance.
Yeah.
So that's one of your closing costs. Number 5 is service charges. That you might have service charges with a cable company, with an electric company, or someone like that that's going to require an installation fee, or sometimes they require a deposit. And then it comes into legal fees. And sometimes you might not have a legal fee, but you would have a title fee instead of a legal fee that goes into that. But sometimes you are going to have a lawyer involved to look over all the paperwork and everything. So legal fees are something that you might want to have as well. And then there's a mortgage loan insurance fees. And depending on what the equity is in your home when you're purchasing it, with a low down payment, some of these payments are required to be paid up front. And so that is something that also is a cost as well. The next thing also has to do with mortgages, and that's a mortgage brokerage fee. And there is an initiation fee or an application fee, they call it. It's called a lot of different things sometimes. But there are a lot of times initial fees that are requested or required by a particular lender.